Once upon a time in a quiet countryside, there lived a hard-working farmer named Thomas. He owned a small piece of land where he grew vegetables and raised a few animals. Life was simple, yet every day brought new lessons. One early morning, Thomas was walking around his farm when he noticed something unusual. A small section of his wooden fence had cracked. One plank was loose, probably pushed out of place by the strong wind during the night. Thomas stood there for a moment, looked at it carefully, and thought to himself, "It's just a small crack. Nothing serious. I'll fix it later. Right now, I have more important work to do." And with that thought, he walked away, leaving the broken fence unattended. Days turned into weeks, and every day Thomas passed by the same broken plank. Each time he told himself the same thing: "I'll fix it tomorrow." But tomorrow never came. The small crack grew wider, and the fence became weaker. One evening, a goat squeezed through the gap and wandered outside. Luckily, Thomas noticed quickly and brought it back in. But instead of repairing the fence right away, he sighed and said, "That was close. I'll fix it another day," but the problem didn't go away. Slowly, the hole grew larger. Soon, two of his cows found their way through the gap and entered the neighbor's field, eating a portion of his corn. The neighbor came angrily and said, "Thomas, your animals are destroying my crops. Please take care of your fence before it causes more trouble." Thomas apologized and promised to fix it, but once again he delayed. He always thought there would be time later. Then one night, the inevitable happened. The fence collapsed completely. While Thomas slept peacefully, his animals escaped one by one: the goats, the cows, and even the chickens. They spread across the village, trampling gardens, scratching the soil, and eating vegetables and flowers. By morning, chaos had spread everywhere. Villagers shouted in anger, "Your animals ruined my garden. They destroyed my flowers. My children can't even play outside anymore." Thomas ran from house to house, chasing after his animals, apologizing, and trying to repair the damage. What had started as a tiny crack in the fence had now turned into a huge disaster. He lost not only time and money, but also the trust of his neighbors. Finally, when everything was settled, Thomas sat down, exhausted and regretful. He thought deeply and said to himself, "If I had fixed the fence the very first day, none of this would have happened." A small problem, if ignored, only grows into a bigger one. A tiny crack becomes a hole, a spark becomes a fire. I learned this lesson the hard way. From that day forward, Thomas changed his habits. He no longer postponed small repairs. He fixed things immediately, whether it was a broken fence, a leaking barrel, or a loose door. He realized that small efforts today can save a lot of pain tomorrow. The story of Thomas and his broken fence spread throughout the village. People learned from his mistake. Whenever they faced small issues, a hole in the roof, a misunderstanding with a friend, or a task they didn't feel like doing, they remembered the broken fence. They reminded themselves that solving small problems early prevents bigger troubles later. And so the farmer's broken fence became more than just a memory. It became a lifelong lesson. Never ignore small problems, because taking care of them in time can save you from greater difficulties in the future. From that day onward, Thomas lived differently. Whenever he saw even the smallest issue, he acted immediately. If a rope looked weak, he tied it stronger. If a tool was rusty, he cleaned it that same day. Slowly, people noticed the change in him. One evening, his neighbor visited and said, "Thomas, I see you've changed. Your farm looks stronger and your animals are safer. I've also started fixing things on time after hearing your story." Thomas smiled. He had not only improved his own life, but also inspired others in the village. The broken fence that once caused him shame had now become a lesson of wisdom for everyone. Solve small problems before they grow big. And so the village lived more peacefully, all because one farmer finally learned the value of taking action at the right time